Tourism plays an essential role in the growth and economy of any nation or place. Hello and welcome to On Abuja. I am Cynthia Agbo. Today, the conversation will take a different direction into the area of tourism sector or aspect in our beautiful city. When a person thinks about visiting Abuja, is tourism destination the first thought? I doubt. Let's go on this short report. Tourism involves the movement and stay of foreigners inside and outside a city or region, provided the journey and stay of a stranger is not connected with several expensive activities. In this sense, it is a sum total of temporary or short-term movement of people from their point of origin, that is source, to a destination outside their place of work or residence. Tourism is not simply an industry, but is an open, dynamic, and complex system. The system consists of many interacting components and involves many different stakeholders. The development of tourism in a sustainable way impinges on and is subject to many factors. The limitation of traditional approaches to tourism research has become evidently in many cases. These approaches have usually looked at a particular issue or issues of the whole tourism picture. As a result, it has become difficult to manage tourism towards sustainability. In Abuja, the tourism situation is one that can be described as still growing, looking at the different structures at play. Past administrations have contributed in enhancing the tourism level, but a lot still needs to be done. In the current administration, the Federal Capital City, the Minister, Barrister Nyesom Wike, has hinted that Abuja possesses significant tourism potential that could be explored by Qatar. Now, Wike stated this in February when he hosted Ali bin Ghanem Al-Hajri, the ambassador of the state of Qatar to Nigeria. He expressed the FCT administration's willingness to provide land for the development of tourism centers in Abuja.
We have a lot of potential here that we can connect in terms of tourism with Qatar. So it could be our interest if you can explore this. We are willing to give out land for building of tourist centers.
The minister highlighted ongoing efforts to complete the Millennium Center, a military center in the nation's capital, emphasizing the FCT's commitment to changing the narrative in Abuja. He also assured collaboration in terms of security, making it convenient for residents of Abuja. Now, according to him, we want to fully complete the Millennium Center, which is the main tourist center in the nation's capital. And in his words, we are doing our part to change the narrative in Abuja. We are ready to collaborate in terms of security. We will make it convenient for all those who reside in Abuja. Aside this, other bodies have indicated interest to collaborate for the growth of tourism in the state. Now, having heard this, it is important for us to talk about how far we've grown from last year to this year, from February till now, looking at the kind of energy that the present minister has put in terms of tourism. We'll have a conversation about the tourism situation in the FCT. What are the developments? Is anything still being done? How far are we from a very good spot, or are we still very much back behind? And to have this conversation with us, I have somebody in the studio, my guest, and in the person of Ambassador Phil Roberts. He is the Executive Director, Tourism Volunteer Network, and is also Volunteer FCT Tourism Department, a key person to be exact. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you see tourism.
Yeah, tourism, because tourism is life and tourism is humanity.
Okay, that's a good one there. Okay, so let's now start from the top.
Okay.
This is 2024,
Yeah.
but let's go back. Let's date it back. How would you describe the tourism level and situation in the nation's capital?
Okay, looking at what we've seen so far from the tourism department, let me away from that area because I work with the FCT tourism department. Tourism has not really had a good thrive in Abuja past years because of some reasons. Of course, the former minister was not really looking at that. You know, every administration choose what angle they want to follow. So I think tourism was not really he wasn't really looking at tourism, so that's why the tourism space in Abuja suffered a little. Though entertainers have been the people pushing tourism, kinda, because you cannot do tourism without entertainment. So the creative industry has been trying their best to see how they can survive in Abuja. That is why a lot of people started coming back to Abuja, like Jim Ike moved to Abuja. A lot of Nollywood guys started moving gradually to Abuja, especially with the incoming of the new president that brought in the governor, the new FCT minister, who is the former governor of River State.
Yeah.
And when he came in, he started preaching tourism, 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 tourism. That's when a lot of us knew that tourism has come to stay. And of course, since he came, there have been a couple of new innovations, some of them which you also read in your opening speech. And of course, the new water park somewhere in Asokoro area. That's something that has also shown that tourism is coming back to stay, because for people to invest such heavy amount of money in such, that means they've seen that tourism is building. Now, from us in the tourism department and what we do through volunteerism, we designed the Tourism Volunteers Network because we found out that government can't do it alone. Government can't promote tourism alone. We need people to join government to promote tourism, because tourism is not designed to be a public sector thing. It's like a partnership with the public sector and the private sector. So everybody comes in to see how they can play their own part in promoting tourism. So that is why we designed the Tourism Volunteers Network, where we can have different volunteers for residents in the FCT to come see how they can show some support to government and promote tourism in their own space. A lot of times people try to play different roles in their own ways, especially in the entertainment industry with the shows they do, they make their money and all that. That is another thing that has also kept tourism thriving in Abuja. Guess what? Because when people come into Abuja for those shows, especially when the celebrities come in, they want to go somewhere. So the job of the tourism department is to expose them to some of those potentials and some of those destinations or tourist attractions we have in Abuja that will take people around to show them what we have in Abuja. Okay,
I wanted to pause you on something, but then you had to allow you land. So now you did mention, I mean, when the celebrities are coming, we have inflow of people want to see places. Away from when the celebrities are coming, maybe for a concert or for an event happening in the FCT, when people, are there plans to create a mind shift? Because, for example, if I want to go to Aba, for example, I am not going to go to Aba for tourism.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If I want to go to, let's say, a place like, let's use Kano.
Okay, so why did you say you wouldn't go to Aba for tourism?
I mean, I'm asking the questions, but I would answer you. So I would answer you.
Because I wanted to explain to you what tourism is all about. Because people need to understand what tourism is all about.
More people go to Aba for business.
Yeah, you go. That is
buying
also tourism.
And selling.
That is also tourism.
Yes.
You go to Aba to see the new light situation.
The market.
Yeah,
and
that
all
is
of that.
tourism.
But in Abuja, now I would want you to help us highlight some of the things that a person can say, okay, because people know Abuja to be more of administration.
Civil servant.
I didn't want to use that word, but then you used the word. So, civil servant, administration.
Yeah.
And then, yes, the new administration is on, and then people are coming in because it comes with its own, vibe and energy.
Yeah.
But you hardly find a person who is saying, I'm just going to Abuja. If the person doesn't have a business meeting or doesn't have, let's say, maybe there's an event he wants to attend or something, or maybe there's a contract he or she is pursuing, you hardly hear a person that say, I want to go to Abuja.
Yeah.
And then even when they say, okay, I like Abuja because Abuja is calm. I want to go and rest. But then when they come, there's really nothing
to see. Yeah.
So that problem didn't just start today. Why has it taken it so long for the people on ground, because I know that the past administration was all about administration, infrastructure,
and fighting corruption.
Did we really fight corruption?
Yeah, they were fighting corruption.
Did we really fight corruption?
Yeah, they did. They played their part, but that has not to do.
Okay, let's leave that. Let's leave that part. Let's leave that part. Let's not go there. Okay, so I mean, why did it take this so long? For the people to understand that there is so much money in tourism.
So I think I will just help you. So the thing there is that, like I said, tourism is not just a government business. Tourism is a people's business. Like I said, tourism is life. Tourism is humanity. You live tourism, you eat tourism. Everything you do every day is tourism. But a lot of time, people don't also know that is tourism. The beautiful buildings and high-rises you see in Abuja, that is tourism. We have the Ladi Kwale. We have the different waterfall. We have the Usman Dam. We have the Kaishi waterfall. We have I don't want to mention it. There are a lot of places in Abuja, but the problem...
Are these places really working? The
problem Abuja has is like we've not been able to come together to see how we can promote Abuja. One of the best things that has happened to Abuja is this your show, which is On Abuja. Because a lot of time, I try to explain to people, there's a little that government can do, but there's so much you can do. Do you know that people can make so much money by just becoming tour guides? By being a tour, imagine you have a destination in your area, you just create something beautiful. A lot of people go for hiking in Abuja.
Yes.
So that is another form of tourism. But we do tourism every day, but we don't know that is tourism because the government has not done so much in promoting those things, the tourism potentials of Abuja, which is what the new FCT minister is pushing on. And coincidentally, we also have a new FCT tourism director. Because one of the challenges that tourism has faced is that people have not been able to do so much. Because one thing about the civil service is that you work under the body language of your superior.
Superior, yes.
So you can have a file, you can have a budget, you can have everything you want to do, but if it's not in the plan, you can't do nothing. So that's why this administration came with this idea of bringing up tourism volunteers who can help them work not as civil servants, but they can work as a private sector. You come in as people who live in Abuja, like you. You can be a volunteer because not you can be a volunteer, you're already volunteering to help Abuja because of your show. So I think you need to be a critical member of the Tourism Volunteers Network, not because of I'm your show. I'm your show.
But
what you're doing now is promoting Abuja, and that is what we promote in Tourism Volunteers Network. We speak to encourage people to come up and design different tourism programs that can promote Abuja. Some of the places, some of the things you've read, some of those places you're going to be picturing and videoing to put on your show. You're already promoting Abuja. That's what we're doing. So we try to explain to people to come up to see how you can get different locations. And guess what? UNESCO pays so much money for some of these heritage sites. So how UNESCO works is that if you discover a tourism site, you let the government know, they upload it and take it to UNESCO. Once UNESCO uploads that site as a tourism site, they'll start pushing that site. Zuma Rock is there.
Yes.
Aso Rock is there.
Yeah.
There are so many things that we have in Abuja, but we have not done so much because even people who are even in the tourism industry, they've not also done so much because a lot of people are waiting for government. I agree, the government has the tourism investment plan. But if you know that there's money to make from tourism than all these other businesses we do, which you also mentioned, and one of the problems Abuja is having is that Abuja is a civil servant city. But some of us who are not civil servants per se, though we work with the government, those of us that are also entertainment and the creative industry, we've tried so much to see how we can discouraging people from taking this stuff, that this mantra, I don't know who designed that mantra, that if you want to blow in the creative industry,
go to Lagos.
So we try to see how we can encourage them to do different creative events here that can promote Abuja. So what we do in the department is that when they have those programs that they do, we encourage them to come to the department and apply so that we take them for tours.
Okay, let's talk about the maintenance culture.
Yeah.
Because that is a huge deal.
Yeah.
I have been to a couple of places in the FCT. I like to move around a lot, right? I've been to a couple of places in Abuja, be it the city center, and then there's some places you see online. You stumble on some of these places on your explore page, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to go check this place out, and you discover that when you go there, it's just saturation. And editing of photos that made the place look that way, editing of videos that made the place look that way. Do we have, is this tourism board, do they have any form of follow-up on all these places that are potential tourist sites? I don't want to call names of some of the places, but I've been to a couple of places where in fact, we went there as a group, you know, we paid so much to enter there, but then when we got there, we discovered everything was just saturation in the videos and the pictures. And guess what? The animals were not even as much as they say. There were no games. There was nothing. So it was a waste of money. Now, if we're going to have people coming as tourists or as people who want to enjoy the beautiful city, see things, we wouldn't want to face that. So do we have any procedure? Do we have anything in the board, in the tourism board, that checkmates some of these places in the FCT to say, okay, you're still maintaining your standards?
Of course, you know, government is dynamic, and government has different departments that handles different things. The job of the tourism department is to promote tourism and see how we can implement the tourism development policy of the government. Now, I usually tell a lot of people things that, why is it that you can volunteer to go to church and you shout hallelujah? Pastor says, raise up your hand. I'm a Christian. You raise up your hand, roll on the floor, you roll on the floor, you do different things because you are volunteering to serve God. Have you seen God before? No. But you volunteer to serve God. But once you leave the church, you come out, you don't want to volunteer to serve humanity. That is the problem we have in Africa, not just Nigeria. So if I am a Nigerian and I am passionate about letting Nigeria be Nigeria, let Nigeria grow, and I'm walking around the street and I see a piece of paper thrown outside on the ground and it's just there, somebody has littered the ground, I can pick it and drop it in a dustbin or something. Or why should I eat and just dump it anyhow? And you cannot do that in church. Or do you think that after you leave church, you have forgotten about God? No, God lives in, we are gods. So the Holy Spirit lives in us and all that. So I encourage people not to destroy public properties. There was some time ago, I was driving along Gwarimpa, and I found out that a lot of all those street lights, those solar panels that we keep
working.
Not very working. They've taken all of them.
Oh, wow.
They've stolen all of them. And I did a video and I was like, Wike just came into office how many weeks? And look at what he has done. And look at this same Baba Bola has gone to remove everything. And I did that video and I uploaded it. And people were like, so is it government that you blame for this one? So I always tell people that, yeah, don't also forget that people who work in the government are also humans. They leave their house from somewhere. So they manifest what they have carried from their house to government. They didn't fall from the sky. So development and protection and maintenance of every tourist site or destination is in our hands as humans, as people who live in Abuja. If we want to make sure that those sites become more useful to people or interesting, when people come there, when you go there, you behave yourself in a way that you're supposed to behave yourself when you are in Dubai. You make sure that if you're not supposed to dump dirty here, don't throw it here. If you're not supposed to do this, if you know you're not supposed to break the cage or something or whatever, don't do it. You understand? But when you see people go there, they act in some funny way and some unusual way. And when that place is littered up or dirty or whatever, you will not start to blame the people who are taking care of it. Of course, I don't want to say that government does not have a role to play. That place is designed for government to make money. The parks and all that, those tourist sites and destinations. But there are people who also work there. So the people who also work there are people who live in Abuja.
But are there policies by the tourism board or the government to always keep the owners in check, to say, okay, you mustn't go down on the standard? That's
why I mentioned some of those places you've mentioned are owned by government, and some of them are also owned by private sector. So if you are using this place for business, you are supposed to know that this is what you are supposed to do. No, there's a limit that except government comes there and close up the place.
No, not closing. I mean,
yeah, no, that's what I'm explaining to you, because like Abuja that we know now, if you see the minister comes to a place and they say this place is not looking how it is supposed to be in the plan, in the master plan, and they close it up, people will be shouting, hey, but they won't know that they have given them so many times, given them so many papers, serve them and tell them do this, do that, and they've not been able to do that. So the government can only do its best. You, that is the one running that place, you are supposed to also do your own. So the tourism department, what we do in the tourism department is to follow up on some of those tourist sites and destinations. We try to see how we can promote them. But you know, you cannot promote too much. That's why we also have Ministry of Information, we have the NOA. They are all of those ones, are sister bodies collaborating to see how they can support. So the job of the tourism department in Abuja is to virtually promote those tourism destinations and the tourism opportunity investment potentials of Abuja. So sometimes we go to those various places, like the national park. They sent us some of their flyers to see how we can help them to promote. And one thing I love the Conservator General, which he has been doing, when you go there, you see something new. Like during the Christmas period, he changed the face of the national park over there at Airport Road. He brought some new things for kids, and he designed a new stand. Different things that we saw there, I was really marveled. So those are some of the things we are looking at happening. So even the directors of some of those tourist sites, we always talk to them to see how they can improve on their standard. Because guess what? If I come here today and I see something different, I would like to invite somebody to come join me. So usually, I usually tell Abuja people that they should try to see how they can help themselves, not help government, keep the various tourist sites clean. Now, you won't understand this until you have a friend visiting you from outside Abuja. The person did come to visit government too. He came to visit you in your house. And he will not tell you, where can we go?
Can we go?
This is Abuja that you have been talking about. Where can we go? And you'll be like, where do we go now? Number one, you feel that you have disappointed that person. Then number two, you will not take the person to a place that doesn't really look like. And you'll be like, assuming I knew, I'd have add my voice to tell them to make this place look better.
Is this the Abuja you've been talking about?
So that's why you see, it's not a government thing, but it's the job of the individuals in Abuja to try and make it better.
Have you ever gotten that reaction of this una Abuja self? In Obia, have you gotten those kind of remarks?
A lot of times, because I share a story. So the country rep of Tourism Volunteers Network in Qatar came visiting Abuja, and he came for a general assembly of the Tourism Volunteers Network, and he was like, please, can you take me to any cheap hotel that is very, 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 very good? And I was like, cheap hotel that is very good, apart from Transcorp. That's the words. It's a standard hotel that is very good, but not so expensive. Okay. And why did he say that? Because he felt that I'm into tourism, so I should have links with a lot of hotels.
Yeah.
So that rang a bell, and I said, that's true. I need to have connections with all these hotels. Because we're not driving around. Imagine me in my town. I was not driving around. Look at, let's go this one, let's go this one, let's go. That's when it dawned on me that no, Phil, you have failed. You need to have a compendium or a list of hotels that you are working with to say, oh, okay, this hotel is 20,000. We're working with you from tourism department. We're going to be getting you different. Let's have our own rates so that when we have people visit. So that was another business idea that came. So I now said, why don't we have a list of all of these hotels and partner with them and all that? I didn't even know that was also in the department. So you see, most times until things happen to us before we know that we should do the right thing. Okay,
absolutely. So let's talk about nightlife. Okay, let's talk about nightlife in Abuja. You know, while we get ready to run on. How would you describe nightlife in Abuja? That's one part that.
Thank God you called it nightlife. So it means it's another set of people entirely. So nightlife. It's
part of tourism, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I say it's another set of people. So nightlife in Abuja is beginning to wake up. Like if you move in the city of Abuja since the coming of this new administration, we have lots of new clubs and hotels springing in. But in the past administration, the numbers were really going down. Why? Because of the former minister was even closing down on even the gardens and all that. So, like I said in the beginning of our discussion, it depends on who is leading, who is the person in charge. That is the body language of that person that the citizens follow. So, nightlife in Abuja is beginning to wake up. I was in a show sometime last 2 weeks ago, and they were talking about how do we transform Nigeria into a 24 hours country. And so I was trying to explain to people that before you get to that level of working 24 hours, that means a lot of things need to be put into consideration.
Absolutely.
Number one, infrastructure. Number one, you need to do so much with publicity. Number three, you need to do so much of orientation.
Security.
Number four, security. Number five, you need to now start teaching the people to adjust their body. Like now, if I'm an entertainer and I have a show, and that show is billed for 3 a.m., so that means I need to position myself to know that I need to wake up by 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock to make sure that I attend the show. Because our shows usually in Abuja is from 7 o'clock and it ends.
I mean, African time is like 9 p.m.
You understand? So people need to now start understanding that nightlife is not sin. Nightlife is something that happens everywhere in the world. So Abuja is beginning to wake up to that level of nightlife. Just like Lagos. Lagos, you pass here in the morning is a shop. In the evening is another thing. You understand? So Abuja is beginning to wake up. Though Abuja has been designed from the onset to be a class of its own. So that administrative pattern that has been designed for Abuja, that is what is making Abuja to still be what it is now. But with the kind of people that are coming into Abuja and with the introduction of new creative activities and businesses that people do, Abuja is beginning to go into the 24 hours economy.
I am definitely sure that, Ambassador, you're going to probably take us round so that we can see some of those night places and have them on the show one of these days.
There's somebody that I know in Wuse too. He starts selling amala from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m.
Probably we'll go there and have hot amala and then film it and bring it on the show.
Of course, I will take you there. It's very hot. So what people do, all these nightlife guys,
yes,
wherever they are in the city of Abuja doing their nightlife thing, they will always come there and find food.
And find food. So always there.
Yeah. So that's why I tell you the 24-hour economy is beginning to grow in Abuja. How did I know this? Maybe because I'm in the tourism department.
Nightlife. Okay. So before we wrap up, Ambassador, there's this. You've mentioned the FCT minister several times in the course of your conversation. You seem to have so much trust and faith in the minister, Nyesom Wike, that he's going to do a lot in the area of the tourism. I mean,
infrastructure.
And infrastructure. Okay, and infrastructure. I mean, tell us more about this faith you have, because the truth is this: there are persons who are going to watch this episode and they're like, okay, fine, let's be patient. But then, how are you going to be able to convince us? Aside from what we are seeing, don't forget, there's a story that he closed. He has ordered for the closing of the ICC, and that will be closed for about 8 months. That is going to hamper on a couple of activities that have been built to happen in that place.
Which one do you prefer? For the place to be open and collapse and kill people than for them to shut it down.
Not.
So let me explain something real quick to you. Is that the man called Nyesom Wike is somebody who we have watched. We have seen what he has done. Just like you talk about Akpabio, what he did in Akwa Ibom State. You talk about Nyesom Wike, what he has done in River State. Now, this is what happened. Nyesom Wike just came into Abuja. And look at the whole things you've mentioned about him. That is, investors are coming from Qatar. They are coming, and all of these things they're talking about is how can they improve on FCT. Now, look at the bridges. Look at the bridges that some project that has been there for years. Look at Wuye Bridge. All of a sudden they are doing it. He came in and those projects that they have abandoned for years, he has started it immediately. And he has told us that before May 29th, he's going to commission those projects. I give you the biggest of them. The Vice President's house has been there since they designed Nigeria. All of a sudden, they are building. Have you gone there? I passed there yesterday, and if I was like, wait, is this the same route I pass every time? If you see the number of street lights that are in that place now, that place used to be where you pass and you enter through the office of the SGF before you go to the National Assembly, like the back gate. And that place has been dead like forever. But I passed there and I'm seeing street lights, I'm seeing soldiers in that place. I'm like, wow. And work is going on in that place 24 hours. Because what he said, he must make sure that he deliver that building on or before 29th of May. So all of the things that he have said he's going to do, the little ones he have said he will do, we are seeing him doing them. Infrastructure is one very major commodity in tourism business. So that is why we know that he's going to do more. So with what we have seen him do, taking up different infrastructural projects, making sure that everything comes up live, making life easy for Abuja people with what they have done. I'm not sure it's going to disappoint us. Okay,
yeah. That's a great one. That at least we have you to hold, just in case anything goes wrong. We're going to hold you and say you came on the show and you promised us that the minister is going to do this. What is happening now?
Because I'm his SSA on special promises.
On special promises, perhaps. All right. So thank you you so much, Ambassador,
God bless
for
you.
coming on the show. Oh, before you go, one last, is there anything, I don't know if by chance you've heard of the Chinese restaurant that is not allowing Nigerians to come in right here in the FCT?
Yeah, in the FCT. No, I'm not sure we've heard that, but thank you for the information.
Why do we have a Chinese supermarket where Nigerians cannot shop in our own Nigeria and in Abuja, the seat of power? That's something that
Okay.
maybe your tourism office can look into it and know.
So we have something in the FCT called SDS. We have the Mandate Secretary for Social Development Secretariat. So maybe this can be taken to the office of the Mandate Secretary for Social Development Secretariat.
It would be great for us to have that
handle
conversation.
social things like this.
Okay, it will be our pleasure to have that conversation with the Mandate, see what they are going to do about that. Maybe some of these things can be clarified so that Nigerians will stop feeling pissed that how can we have a Chinese supermarket where Nigerians cannot go in the seat of power, the FCT. Okay. All right, thank you so much for coming on the show. I do hope that all the outings you've promised me, you will keep to them.
We'll keep to it.
All right, so that's the start of our package this beautiful evening right here on On Abuja. I definitely sure that you enjoyed this particular episode. A repeat will come to you every Friday. Fresh edition of On Abuja comes to you every Wednesday at 6. And everything you need to know about what's going on in the FCT, you find it right here on Abuja. My name is Cynthia Agot. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms. And if you want to have a conversation with us or maybe draw my attention to something that is going on in the FCT that I may have missed, just say On Abuja and we'll answer you and get to hear anything that you want to say. From me to you, to have yourself a pleasant evening.